Hi, welcome to our channel where we share the most intriguing stories. When Sam Williams purchased his dream beachfront property, he never imagined it would become a battleground. Nestled beside the upscale Golden Breeze Estates, his tranquil retreat seemed untouchable until Amanda Harper, the overzealous president of the HOA, decided his private beach was hers to control. What began as trespassing escalated into a legal showdown, revealing just how far ambition and power could drive someone. Sitting quietly in his cabin, Sam Williams gazed out at the glittering expanse of the Pacific Ocean. The rhythmic crash of waves and the salty breeze were a welcome reprieve from the noise and demands of his city life as an architect. A few years ago, Sam had achieved what felt like an impossible dream, purchasing 2 pristine acres of coastal land. The property included a private beach bordered by towering pines and a quaint wooden cabin he had personally restored. For Sam, this place wasn't just an investment. It was a sanctuary, a personal retreat from the grind of urban chaos. Sam's land bordered an upscale gated community called Golden Breeze Estates, known for its manicured lawns, identical beige homes, and, most of all, the formidable Homeowners Association, HOA, that governed its residents with an iron fist. Stories about HOA conflicts were a dime a dozen, and Sam had initially been amused by tales of ridiculous rules and power-hungry board members. But he had made sure, before purchasing the land, that it was legally independent from the HOA's jurisdiction. This land was his, free and clear. For the first couple of years, life on the property was serene. Occasionally, Sam would notice footprints in the sand or the faint echo of voices from across the invisible boundary separating his beach from the HOA-governed territory. But these instances were rare and harmless, the sort of minor nuisances that came with any property. Besides, he had posted, say, private property signs at intervals along the edge of his land, a polite but firm declaration of his boundaries. The real trouble began with the arrival of Amanda Harper, the newly appointed president of the Golden Breeze HOA. Amanda was a striking woman with her sharp bob of platinum blonde hair, designer suits, and a perpetual air of entitlement. Her reputation as an unyielding enforcer of HOA regulations preceded her. Under her leadership, fines for minor violations skyrocketed, and even longtime residents began whispering complaints about her overreach. Amanda treated the HOA like her personal kingdom, relishing her control over the community. Unbeknownst to Sam, Amanda's ambitions didn't stop at Golden Breeze. She had her eyes set on his beach, a stretch of soft sand and sparkling water she deemed too picturesque to remain private. Amanda's view was simple. Anything within arm's reach of the HOA should fall under its control. In her mind, Sam's property was wasted on one person when it could serve as the centerpiece for Golden Breeze's annual events and leisure activities. Sam remained blissfully unaware of Amanda's scheming until one fateful weekend in midsummer. As he poured himself a fresh cup of coffee and stepped outside to enjoy the morning sun, the sight that greeted him nearly made him drop his mug. 50 or so people swarmed his private beach. Tents were pitched. Lounge chairs dotted the sand. A giant inflatable slide stood near the shoreline, and a table laden with food glistened under the sunlight. A portable sound system blared upbeat music, while children shrieked as they splashed in the shallows. Sam froze, his mind scrambling to comprehend the chaos. This wasn't a casual group of trespassers. It was a fully organized event. His first reaction was disbelief. How had they even gotten here? His second was frustration. And, as his eyes landed on Amanda Harper, confidently directing the chaos with a clipboard in hand, his third reaction was anger. He hadn't invited anyone, and yet here they were, treating his land as though it were their own. What began as a quiet morning had become the first shot fired in what would become an all-out war for Sam's piece of paradise. Sam marched across the sand, his heart pounding with a mix of frustration and disbelief. He weaved between folding chairs, coolers, and sunbathers as the intrusive scene became even more surreal. A volleyball net had been erected near the waterline. A portable grill was sizzling with burgers and hot dogs, and colorful bunting fluttered in the ocean breeze. He finally stopped a few feet from Amanda Harper, who was holding court near a buffet table, laughing with a group of similarly well-dressed neighbors. "Excuse me," Sam said sharply, his voice cutting through the noise. The group turned to face him, Amanda's smile instantly morphing into a look of mild irritation. "Yes?" she said, arching an eyebrow as if she had just been interrupted in an important meeting. "What is going on here? This is my property." Sam gestured at the beach, his voice rising with indignation. "I didn't authorize any of this." Amanda's expression shifted to one of patronizing calm, her perfectly manicured nails tapping lightly on the clipboard in her hand. "Oh, you must be mistaken," she said sweetly. "This beach is part of the Golden Breeze community. It's been used for years for our annual HOA summer event." Sam clenched his jaw, trying to keep his cool. "It's not part of your community. This is private property. My property. I have the deed, the survey maps, everything. Your people are trespassing, and I need you all to leave immediately." Amanda's calm demeanor evaporated, replaced by a steely glare. "Listen, Mr. Williams, or whatever your name is," she snapped. "This beach has always been used by our HOA. You can't just waltz in and claim it as your own." "I didn't just waltz in. I legally purchased this land years ago," Sam countered, his voice firm. "The no trespassing signs along the boundary make that clear." Amanda crossed her arms. "Those signs don't mean anything. This property has always been treated as part of our community. Our residents pay significant HOA dues, and those dues ensure access to amenities like this beach. You can't expect us to change decades of tradition just because you've decided to play Lord of the Manor." Sam's temper flared. "What I expect is for you and everyone here to respect the law and leave my land. If you don't, I'll call the police." Amanda scoffed, waving dismissively at him. "Go ahead and call them. My husband's on the city council, and I'll have them tell you the same thing I am. This is community property." The brazenness of her statement left Sam stunned for a moment. He took a deep breath and turned on his heel, heading back to his cabin. As he walked away, he could hear Amanda's voice, dripping with condescension. "Go ahead, run along. We'll be here enjoying our beach." Inside his cabin, Sam dialed the non-emergency police number, carefully explaining the situation to the dispatcher. "This isn't just trespassing," he emphasized. "They've organized a massive event on my property without permission." The dispatcher assured him that officers would be sent immediately. Sam spent the next several minutes gathering documents to prove his ownership: the deed, property tax receipts, and the original surveyor's report. When he returned to the beach, the party had only grown louder. More people had arrived, some carrying coolers and beach gear, while children squealed as they jumped off a makeshift dock someone had dragged onto the sand. Amanda stood near the volleyball game, speaking animatedly into her phone, likely spreading her version of events. Sam was relieved to hear the sound of sirens in the distance. A pair of police cruisers pulled up near the access road, and 4 officers made their way across the sand. Amanda spotted them and immediately strode toward the lead officer, a seasoned-looking sergeant. "Thank goodness you're here," Amanda began, her voice dripping with authority. "That man," she pointed at Sam, "has been harassing us and trying to disrupt our event. He's trespassing and causing a disturbance." The sergeant frowned and turned to Sam, who stepped forward with his papers. "Actually, officer, this is my property," Sam explained. "I have all the documents to prove it, and these people are the ones trespassing." The sergeant took the documents, reviewing them carefully. His stern expression softened as he handed them back. "This seems pretty clear-cut, Mr. Williams. The property records confirm your ownership." "Ma'am," he addressed Amanda, "I'm going to have to ask you and your group to leave." Amanda's face reddened, her voice rising. "This is a mistake. He must have forged those papers. This beach has been part of our community for decades." The sergeant's expression hardened. "Ma'am, the records are legitimate. You're trespassing. Pack up your event and leave, or we'll start issuing citations." Despite the officer's firm stance, Amanda refused to back down, rallying the partygoers to her side. The confrontation was just the beginning of what would become a bitter and escalating battle between Sam and the HOA. As the last of the police cars disappeared down the access road, the beach fell into a tense silence. The officers had given Amanda Harper and her group a clear warning: leave the property or face trespassing charges. Yet, as Sam watched from the edge of his cabin's porch, he could see Amanda standing defiantly by the buffet table, surrounded by a few staunch supporters. Instead of packing up, they seemed to be plotting their next move. Sam stepped back inside, locking the door behind him. He wasn't naive enough to think this would end easily. Amanda's arrogance was palpable, and her refusal to acknowledge facts spoke volumes about her character. Sure enough, a few hours later, Sam received the first volley in what was clearly going to be a protracted war. A letter delivered to his cabin bearing the official Golden Breeze HOA seal. The letter, laden with legal jargon, accused Sam of illegally seizing HOA property and demanded he immediately cease his unauthorized use of the beach. It threatened a lawsuit if he didn't provide evidence that his claim of ownership was legitimate. A laughable demand, given the police had already verified his documents. The arrogance of the letter was matched only by Amanda's gall. The very next day, Sam found HOA board members pacing along the invisible property line, pointing and gesturing as though they were surveying the area. One of them, an older man in a golf shirt, approached Sam's porch and introduced himself as a neutral mediator. "This is a simple misunderstanding," he said with a disarming smile. "Amanda is very passionate, you know. Surely there's a way to reach an agreement that works for everyone." Sam's response was short but polite. "There's no misunderstanding. I own this land, and I won't be giving it up." The man's face darkened. "Well, if you refuse to cooperate, don't be surprised when the HOA takes action." That action came swiftly. Within days, a neighborhood-wide flyer was distributed, branding Sam as an outsider who had stolen the community's beloved beach. The flyer urged residents to pressure him into returning it, claiming that his refusal was selfish and detrimental to their property values. The harassment didn't stop there. Early one morning, Sam awoke to the sound of hammering. Stepping outside, he found two men in HOA-logoed shirts driving wooden stakes into the sand near the property line. A banner stretched between the stakes read, "Future site of Golden Breeze Community Pavilion coming soon." Sam's blood boiled. He approached the men, demanding to know who had authorized their actions. "Talk to Amanda," one of them said dismissively before leaving the stakes where they were and walking away. Furious, Sam called his attorney, Mark Levinson, who specialized in property disputes. "We're past warnings now," Sam told him. "They're openly claiming my land as their own." Mark wasted no time. The next day, a cease and desist letter was sent to the HOA, warning of legal repercussions if they continued to harass Sam or encroach on his property. Yet Amanda seemed emboldened rather than deterred. That weekend, Sam's security cameras captured her and a group of HOA members trying to dismantle one of his private property signs, claiming it was improperly installed. By now, Amanda had enlisted the services of a law firm, filing an official lawsuit against Sam. The suit claimed that his purchase of the land was invalid due to irregularities in the sale process, and alleged that the beach had been part of a community easement for decades. The HOA was demanding that the court nullify Sam's ownership and return the land to their control. But Sam was prepared. Mark Levinson began assembling an airtight case, digging into county records to expose Amanda's lies. Among other discoveries, he found that the HOA had no documented claim to the beach whatsoever. In fact, Amanda's claim of a historic easement was a fabrication designed to rally the residents behind her. As tensions escalated, Sam noticed a disturbing shift in Amanda's tactics. Under the cover of darkness, someone spray-painted community property across his fence. Later that week, his water line was mysteriously severed, forcing him to bring in a plumber. And when he wasn't on the property, HOA members took to leaving notices of violation on his door, citing imaginary infractions like failure to comply with community standards. The breaking point came when Sam returned one evening to find that a section of his fence had been torn down. His security cameras caught Amanda herself supervising the act, clipboard in hand as she directed a small group of residents. For Sam, this was the final straw. "It's time to stop playing defense," he told Mark. "Let's take this to court and put an end to it." The battle lines were drawn. Sam filed a counter-lawsuit against Amanda and the HOA, accusing them of trespassing, property damage, and harassment. He sought not only to affirm his ownership, but to hold them financially accountable for their reckless actions. The stage was set for a courtroom showdown that would either vindicate Sam or cement Amanda's vision of dominance over the community. The courtroom was packed, the tension so thick it felt as if it could smother the entire proceeding. Residents from Golden Breeze Estates filled the pew-like seats, some looking eager, others anxious. At the center of it all sat Amanda Harper, poised in her tailored navy suit, a confident smirk etched across her face. Beside her was a team of well-dressed attorneys, each radiating the air of superiority that only HOA money could buy. Across the aisle, Sam sat quietly with his attorney, Mark Levinson, a calm resolve in his posture. The judge entered, and the room fell silent. What followed was the culmination of months of escalating conflict, and both sides were ready to fight. Amanda's lawyers started by presenting the HOA's claims. The beach was part of a long-standing community easement, and that the deed transfer from the previous owner to Sam was invalid due to alleged procedural errors. They painted Sam as an opportunistic outsider, exploiting a legal loophole to steal land belonging to the community. But as their arguments unfolded, it became clear that they were grasping at straws. Their primary evidence was a crudely edited map showing the beach as part of Golden Breeze Estates. But under Mark's cross-examination, the HOA's surveyor admitted the document had been altered after Sam's purchase. This revelation visibly shook Amanda's confidence, though she tried to maintain her composure. Then came Sam's turn. Mark meticulously presented their evidence, starting with the original deed and surveyor records proving Sam's ownership. He highlighted the pristine legality of the sale and pointed out the complete absence of any historical easement in the property records. The judge nodded along, visibly unimpressed by the HOA's earlier claims. But the real blow came when Mark presented video footage from Sam's security cameras. The courtroom watched as Amanda, clipboard in hand, directed HOA members to tear down Sam's fence. Gasps rippled through the audience as the judge's face hardened. When Amanda took the stand, her attempt at charm quickly unraveled under Mark's relentless questioning. Her fabricated easement story fell apart when she admitted she had no direct evidence to back her claim. She grew defensive, then flustered, as Mark pointed out inconsistencies in her testimony. The judge's stern gaze grew colder with each passing moment. In his closing statement, Mark emphasized the HOA's brazen disregard for the law, the harassment Sam endured, and the financial and emotional toll of Amanda's reckless leadership. He urged the court to not only affirm Sam's ownership, but to hold Amanda and the HOA accountable for their actions. The verdict came swiftly. The judge ruled decisively in Sam's favor, declaring his ownership of the property ironclad. He dismissed the HOA's lawsuit with prejudice, noting their case was built on falsehoods and malice. But it didn't stop there. The judge fined the HOA $250,000 in damages for trespassing, property destruction, and legal fees to be paid directly to Sam. Amanda, however, faced an even harsher sentence. The court found her personally liable for orchestrating the harassment campaign and committing fraud by altering official documents. She was ordered to pay an additional $50,000 in punitive damages and was referred to the district attorney's office for potential criminal charges. As the gavel fell, the courtroom erupted in a mix of stunned silence and whispered murmurs. Amanda's confident facade had crumbled into sheer disbelief. She was escorted out of the room by her lawyers, her head hanging low. Sam, meanwhile, exhaled deeply, a sense of relief washing over him. Justice had been served, and his beach, his sanctuary, was finally safe. The aftermath of the trial sent shockwaves through Golden Breeze Estates. Amanda Harper's fall from grace was swift and absolute. The once feared HOA president was forced to resign in disgrace, her reputation in ruins. As news of her legal and potential criminal troubles spread, many residents began to openly voice their frustrations about her authoritarian rule. With Amanda gone, the HOA board held emergency elections. A group of reform-minded residents took charge, promising transparency and fairness moving forward. Their first official act was to issue a public apology to Sam, acknowledging the HOA's wrongful actions and pledging to rebuild trust with the community. While Sam appreciated the gesture, he was more relieved to finally have peace and the freedom to enjoy his land without further intrusion. On his property, Sam wasted no time fortifying his boundaries. He replaced the damaged fence with a reinforced one, added additional no trespassing signs, and upgraded his security system with motion-activated cameras that covered every corner of the perimeter. These measures served as both a deterrent and a reminder that his property was off-limits. Word quickly spread among the Golden Breeze residents, and the harassment ceased entirely. Even the most loyal supporters of Amanda learned to steer clear of Sam's beach. In time, what had been a source of tension transformed into mutual respect. Some neighbors even stopped by to apologize for their earlier involvement in the conflict, expressing regret for believing Amanda's lies. The financial compensation awarded to Sam also had a silver lining. He used part of the settlement to restore the natural beauty of his beach, repairing the areas damaged during the HOA's intrusive events. A local landscaping company helped him replant native grasses near the dunes, and he added a small fire pit and seating area near his cabin for gatherings with close friends and family. The case also gained local media attention, casting Sam in the light of a quiet hero who stood up to abuse of power. His story became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even against well-funded organizations, justice could prevail. More importantly, the experience reinforced Sam's connection to his sanctuary. Walking along the undisturbed shoreline one evening, the waves lapping at his feet, he felt a renewed appreciation for the simple, unspoiled beauty of the place he fought so hard to protect. His land was no longer just a retreat. It was a testament to his perseverance and a symbol of standing one's ground against even the most audacious opposition. As the months passed, the echoes of the legal battle gradually faded, leaving Sam with a sense of closure and triumph. His beach, once under siege, was now a peaceful haven once more. The intrusive presence of Amanda Harper and the overreaching HOA had been replaced by quiet waves, rustling pines, and the freedom he had cherished since the day he bought the land. Reflecting on the ordeal, Sam realized the experience had taught him more than just the importance of standing up for his rights. It had shown him the value of resilience, the necessity of understanding one's legal footing, and the strength that comes from refusing to be bullied, no matter how powerful the opponent may seem. Amanda's fall and the reforms in Golden Breeze Estates stood as a cautionary tale for other HOAs in the area. Her unchecked ambition and abuse of authority not only cost her financially, but also destroyed her reputation and potentially her freedom. For Sam, it was a reminder of how dangerous unchecked power can be and how vital it is to hold those in authority accountable. Though the court battle had been grueling, Sam felt a deep sense of pride for having defended what was his. His victory wasn't just about property, it was about principle. He knew others might now feel emboldened to protect their rights, inspired by his willingness to fight back. As he stood on the shoreline one evening, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Sam smiled. The battle had been hard fought, but it was worth it. His beach wasn't just a piece of land. It was a symbol of justice, perseverance, and the enduring strength of those who refused to back down. The waves rolled in, washing away the last traces of conflict, leaving only peace in their wake.